You think you can waltz in here, throw punches at my people, and walk out like nothing happened? Not in my city, not in my bar. You hear me? I built everything you see here, and I won't have some leather-clad nobody spitting on it. Look at me when I'm talking to you. You're gonna pay for what you did, and you're gonna do it right now before...
The millionaire laughed as he pointed at the oil-stained jacket. That filthy rag belongs in the trash, just like you. 5 minutes later, he was sobbing on the floor, begging for forgiveness. It happened at the Sterling Club, Chicago's most exclusive private establishment where memberships cost $250,000. Jake Ironside Morrison had just pulled up to the valet on his Harley. His leather jacket was covered in oil stains, road dust, and patches from 20 years of riding. The doorman immediately stepped in front of him. "Deliveries are in the back," he said dismissively. "I'm not delivering anything," Jake said calmly. "I have a reservation." Morrison, 7 o'clock. The doorman's eyes widened. "There must be some mistake." "This is a private club." "No mistake." Jake pulled out his phone showing the confirmation. "My son made the reservation. It's his birthday." Before the doorman could respond, a booming voice cut through the evening air. "Good God, what is that smell?" Vincent Ashford emerged from a black Bentley, wearing a suit that cost more than most people's cars. Ashford was old money, inherited fortune, the kind of man who'd never worked a day in his life, but believed he'd earned everything. Worth $50 million and carried himself like he owned the world. "Sir, I was just explaining to this gentleman that he might be at the wrong establishment," the doorman stammered. Ashford walked closer, his nose wrinkled in disgust. He circled Jake like he was examining roadkill. "Is that supposed to be a jacket? It looks like you dragged it through a sewage plant." "It's my riding jacket," Jake said quietly. "I'm here to meet my son." "Your son?" Ashford laughed cruelly. "What, did he lose a bet? Had to bring his homeless father to a real restaurant?" A small crowd was gathering, other wealthy patrons stopping to watch the spectacle. This was entertainment to them. "The jacket's seen better days," Jake admitted, "but it's gotten me through a lot." "It's gotten you through a lot," Ashford mocked. "Like what? Meth deals? Biker gang fights?" He turned to the crowd. "Look at this specimen, everyone. This is what happens when you waste your life on a motorcycle instead of building something meaningful." Jake's jaw tightened, but he stayed calm. "Sir, I just want to have dinner with my son." "Not dressed like that," Ashford declared. He reached out and flicked one of Jake's patches. "What are these supposed to be? Participation trophies for not dying on that death machine?" That's when Jake's son Tommy appeared at the entrance. 25 years old, wearing a sharp suit, successful financial analyst. "Dad, you made it!" The crowd went silent. Tommy was a regular at the Sterling Club, well-liked, respected. Ashford's face showed confusion, then disgust. "Thomas, you know this person?" "This is my father," Tommy said proudly, walking over to hug Jake. "Your father?" Ashford was incredulous. "My God, Thomas, I had no idea you came from such limited circumstances. How embarrassing for you." "There's nothing embarrassing about my dad," Tommy said firmly. Ashford ignored him, focusing back on Jake. "Tell me, does that disgusting jacket even have any real value? Or is it just garbage you're too sentimental to throw away?" Jake looked down at his jacket. Each stain told a story. Each patch meant something. "It has value to me." "Value to you," Ashford laughed. "Let me tell you what value means." He pulled out his wallet and threw $500 bills on the ground. "That's more money than your jacket has ever seen. That's real value. That's what success looks like." The bills landed in a puddle near Jake's boots. "Pick it up," Ashford commanded. "Consider it charity. Maybe you can finally afford to burn that rag and buy something that doesn't make you look like trash." Jake didn't move. "I don't want your money." "Of course you do," Ashford insisted. "People like you always want money from people like me. That's how the world works. I have it. You don't. Now pick it up before I change my mind." Tommy stepped between them. "Mr. Ashford, you need to apologize to my father right now." Ashford laughed harder. "Apologize? For what? Speaking the truth? Your father looks like he sleeps under bridges. That jacket is an insult to everyone here who actually worked hard for their success." That's when Jake spoke, his voice deadly calm. "You want to know about this jacket, Mr. Ashford?" "I really don't. Ashford waved dismissively. This patch here, Jake pointed to a faded American flag on his shoulder. Got this in Kabul, 2003. This oil stain? He touched his chest. That's from pulling a family out of a burning car on I-90. The dad, the mom, 2 kids. This burn mark? That's from shielding a woman from an explosion in Baghdad. The crowd had gone completely quiet. This jacket, Jake continued, his voice steady, has been to 3 war zones. It's saved my life twice. It's kept me warm in the Hindu Kush Mountains when it was 20 below zero. These aren't just stains, Mr. Ashford. They're memories. They're lives saved. They're sacrifices made. Ashford rolled his eyes. Oh, please, the hero veteran routine. How predictable. I'm not finished, Jake said. See this patch? 1st Marine Division? This one? Purple Heart. This small one here? That's from the police department. I was a cop for 15 years after the Marines. And this stain right here? He pointed to a dark mark near his ribs. That's blood from taking a bullet meant for a 12-year-old girl during a convenience store robbery. Tommy's eyes were wet. He'd heard these stories before, but never like this. So when you look at my jacket, Jake said quietly, and see trash, I see 20 years of service. I see honor. I see sacrifice. What do you see when you look at your suit, Mr. Ashford? Daddy's money? The crowd gasped. Someone whispered, "Oh my God." Ashford's face turned red. How dare you speak to me like that? Do you know who I am? I know exactly who you are, Jake said. You're Vincent Ashford III. Trust fund baby, inherited everything. Never served anyone but yourself. Never worked a real job. Never put your life on the line for anything except maybe your golf handicap. You have no right, Ashford started. And I know something else, Jake interrupted. He pulled out his phone. I know you're currently under federal investigation for tax evasion. I know your company is facing fraud charges. I know your wife filed for divorce last month after finding out about your mistress. Ashford went pale. How do you? Who told you? I'm still a cop, Mr. Ashford, Jake said. Just moved to federal work. Financial Crimes Division. And you know what's funny? I was supposed to meet with my team tonight to discuss your case, but I told them I was taking the night off for my son's birthday. The color drained from Ashford's face completely. But since I'm here, Jake continued, and you've been so kind as to demonstrate your character publicly, I think I'll make a few calls. Wait, Ashford stammered. I didn't know. I mean, I wouldn't have. Jake pulled up his phone contacts, showing it to Tommy. Should I call the team? Let them know our prime suspect just publicly harassed a federal agent? Dad, Tommy said quietly, maybe we should just go inside. But the manager of the Sterling Club had appeared, a woman in her 50s named Margaret. She'd been watching from the doorway. Mr. Ashford, Margaret said coldly, I need you to leave. What? Margaret, I'm a founding member. You were a founding member, she corrected. Your membership is hereby revoked. We don't tolerate harassment of veterans or law enforcement. This is ridiculous, Ashford shouted. My family helped build this club. Your grandfather helped build this club, Margaret said. A man who actually served in World War II? A man who would be ashamed of what you just did. Security, please escort Mr. Ashford out. 2 security guards appeared. Large men who looked like they probably rode motorcycles themselves. You can't do this, Ashford protested weakly. I'll sue. I'll destroy this place. With what money? Jake asked casually. Once the federal charges go through, your assets will be frozen. You'll be lucky to afford a public defender. Ashford suddenly dropped to his knees. Right there on the sidewalk, his expensive suit touching the wet pavement. Please, he begged. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I made a mistake. You made several mistakes, Jake said. You judged a book by its cover. You disrespected a veteran. You harassed people for your entertainment. And worst of all, you did it because you thought your money made you untouchable. I'll apologize, Ashford was crying now. I'll do anything. Please don't ruin my life. Jake looked down at the man who'd been so arrogant just minutes before. You ruined your own life, Mr. Ashford. I'm just doing my job. I'm begging you, Ashford sobbed. I have children. Please. You should have thought about them before you decided to humiliate a stranger for wearing a dirty jacket, Tommy said coldly. The crowd that had gathered was recording now, phones out, capturing every second. By morning, this would be everywhere. Margaret stepped forward. Mr. Morrison, your table is ready, and your entire evening is complimentary. with our deepest apologies for this incident. Jake helped Ashford stand up. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to get professional help for whatever made you think treating people like this was acceptable. You're going to make a public apology, and you're going to donate $1 million to veteran charities. I can't afford, Ashford started. You can, Jake interrupted. I've seen your real financial records, the ones you hide from the IRS. You can, Jake interrupted. I've seen your real financial records, the ones you hide from the IRS, $1 million, or I personally ensure the federal investigation moves to the top of the priority list. Ashford nodded frantically. Yes, anything. I'll do it. Good, Jake said. Now apologize to everyone here for wasting their time. Ashford turned to the crowd, tears and snot running down his face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was wrong. I was horrible. Please forgive me. Jake picked up the $500 bills from the puddle. He walked over to a homeless veteran sitting near the corner that no one else had noticed. He handed the man the money. Get yourself somewhere warm tonight, brother. The homeless vet looked at Jake's patches and saluted. Jake saluted back. Then Jake and Tommy walked into the Sterling Club, leaving Ashford kneeling on the sidewalk, surrounded by security guards and recording phones. Inside, over dinner, Tommy raised his glass. To my dad, the man who taught me that real wealth isn't in your bank account, it's in your character. Jake touched his dirty jacket. And sometimes the dirtiest things carry the most value. Outside, Vincent Ashford was helped into a taxi by security. His Bentley stayed parked at the club. He couldn't drive through the tears. By morning, the video had 10 million views. Billionaire mocks veteran cop, instantly regrets it. Ashford made the donation, a full $1 million to veteran charities. He posted a public apology that his PR team spent all night crafting. But Jake never washed his jacket. Each stain remained, each memory intact. Because sometimes the things that look the dirtiest on the outside carry the most beautiful stories on the inside. And sometimes the people who mock those things are really just revealing how empty they are themselves. Jake still wears that jacket, still rides that Harley, still serves with honor. And somewhere in Chicago, Vincent Ashford is learning that money can buy you many things, but it can't buy you back your dignity once you've traded it for cruelty. That's what happens when you mock what you don't understand. You don't just insult a jacket. You reveal exactly who you are to the world. And sometimes the world is recording.